Hi, my name is Jennifer Luarca, and this short video is going to focus on calculating your grades so that you can plan your study approach heading into finals week. So first, we're going to touch on being aware. It's all about awareness when it comes to grades. You need to know not just what grade you have, but what exact points you have, how strong your grade is, so that you know how much time you need to allocate studying for your final exam. So it's important to be aware that each instructor maintains their grades in different ways. Some may use Beachboard, which is great for you because it's right there as you sign in. You can watch your grade and monitor that as you progress through the semester. Others may use a different type of virtual gradebook, and some may not share their gradebook with you. So in the instance that there isn't a virtual space for you to check on your grade, you will just need to make sure that you're maintaining a gradebook for yourself. In that instance, where an instructor isn't plugging grades into something that's shared with you, then I would recommend using Excel. And every time you get a grade, you plug that grade into Excel, total points available and the total points you earned, so that you can easily calculate your grade throughout the semester. This is important because this will help you determine where you sit in your class and how much you need to study for final exam. In the case that a professor isn't posting grades regularly, you can always check on your grade, and that would be fine to do in office hour or in an email. Just checking up and saying, "Hi, I'm just wondering what my grade is on this assignment." Now, I would be sure to give instructors 2 or 3 weeks before they return a grade to you. But after that 2 or 3 week mark, it's fine to check in with them politely and ask for your grade. Now, talking through how to manage the points and the different types of grading systems instructors may use. It's important that you use your syllabus for this purpose. All syllabi are going to maintain or show you the grade system for the course. Some are going to use points only, and some are going to use percentage weight in terms of determining your grade points. So I'm going to talk you through both aspects here in just a second. And again, it's recommended that you track your grades and that you continually calculate your grade throughout the semester so you know exactly where you stand. So the first thing I want to touch on is if you're being graded on points. So for example, this will look like on a syllabus, homework is worth 30 points, exams are worth 300 points, right? And it's just a point system there. So in order to figure out what your grade is, you're adding up points. You're finding the points on all the graded assignments you have per category, and you're plugging those points in and adding them up. For example, here you go. This is a sample of that points-based grading system, and this would be on your syllabus. So you see you have 10 tickets out the door, 3 points each. So as you gather those points, maybe you missed 3 points. Well, then you're going to have 27 points for that category, right? So, and so on. You would include, every time you get a graded assignment, you would include it in that category and you would calculate accordingly. So I recommend the first week of school, if this is your grading system, again, you develop, if you don't have it in Beachboard, an Excel spreadsheet that allows you to plug in these points for each category. That way you have a really easy time of calculating your points as you get that feedback back from your professors. And if you do it from the very beginning of the semester, it's not a lot of work at the end. You know exactly where you stand in your course. Now, if your course is weighted, again, so instead of the point system, you have homework is worth 20% of your grade. That's a different approach. What we would want to do is we would want to add up all the points you got on homework and find that average points in that category. So you add up each category, divide by the total points possible for the average, and then to get the weight of that grade, we would multiply that average points by the weight percentage to get your total grade in that category. So for example, if homework is 20% of your points and you earn, maybe there's 10 points and you earned 9 points in homework. You'd want to take your average grade and then multiply it times 20% or 0.2 to figure out exactly how much you have in the homework category, and so on. So we would calculate our average points times the percentage, which would equal our total in that category, and then we would add up the percentages to figure it out, our total in the category. Okay, and we have the grade scale here at the bottom. So again, a little trickier. We have a few more steps here in this situation to figure out what our percentage weight is in each category. But if we figure that out ongoingly throughout the semester, then we're just really monitoring that progress and that category as we inch towards finals. All right, and so now if we know what our grades are, we can schedule our time appropriately. So we want to first ask ourselves, is this grade movable? By movable, I mean, are we sitting at a high point in the percentage category? So are we at a 79%, where yes, it's very likely we could transition to that 80%? Or are we down at a 71, where we're really not able to move much in terms of going towards a B would be more difficult than dropping to a D. So we would want to think through that and see how movable is our grade. Can we just focus on maintaining our grade? Could we lose our grade? Or is it possible to move that grade up? We want to be super realistic in this assessment of where we stand in each of our classes, and that's why calculating points is really critical to us being able to think through this step. And once we know how movable that grade is or where we stand, then we can start to plan our study. This is just an example of how we might approach that situation. But for example, if we're thinking in terms of defending a grade, so a grade that is typically into 1 to 3% of that grade category, so for our example here, 72%, it's not so likely we can pull that 72% all the way up to an 80. It's more likely that we could lose that percentage and slip maybe down towards the D category if we're not careful. So what we want to do is really think about defending this 72%. What would we do then? We would want to work in a 3 to 1 ratio. So for every one time we study another course, we would want to study this course 3 times just to make sure we're maintaining our knowledge base here. We'd want to take that same approach for our offense club courses, or those courses where we are able to move the grade. Typically, this is going to be the 7 to 9% category. So for example, if you have a 78%, that is a movable grade. So we would want to take that 3 to 1 ratio again, where for every one time we study another course, we're going to study this one 3 times. And then if we're working on maintenance, where we're kind of sitting in the middle of that grade category, typically between 4 to 6%. So for example, here we're sitting at a 75%. We're just really focused on maintenance. Maybe if we worked really, really hard, we could pull it up. Maybe if we bomb the final, it would drop down, but more than likely we're going to sit in the middle of this grade category. So what we want to do here is work in a 2 to 1 ratio. So for every one time we study maybe a really, really simple course, we're going to study this course 2 times so that we maintain that grade in that course. So walking through that, a lot of hypotheticals there because it is an example, but we would want to look at a sample schedule, and it would look like this. So our defense course is that biology. We would want to be studying 3 times a week for 3 hours each time we study. And then the history is that offense, right, where we're trying to move that course up. Same thing. We're studying 3 times a week for 3 hours. But that social class is really, we're just trying to maintain that grade. So we're studying twice a week for 2 hours each. So this is a sample study schedule we might want to use as we think about studying. Now, of course, this ratio may not work for you. This is a suggestion based on the study time ratio approach, but this is not prescriptive, meaning this is not what you should definitely do. If you want to talk through this a little with me, as an academic coach, I can meet with you for free and schedule a time for us to really look at your grade points in each class, decide movability together, and plan out a study approach that will meet your needs as we head into finals. I would highly recommend doing that about 3 weeks before finals. So for fall semester, that's going to be right after fall break. I would get in touch with me through Beach Connect, schedule your appointment so that we can figure out how to calculate those grades and how movable those grades are. I hope you found this informational and useful to you. If nothing else, you can start to think through how you're going to manage grades for the semester and how you're going to calculate your grade percentages or your points for each class that you're in. Again, feel free to schedule with me through Beach Connect for free if you want to talk through this a little bit more or hash it out in terms of your own specific course grade needs. Thank you.